And here we go. Today, we're going to continue this conversation about healing naturally with Brooke Goldner. And you can find her at goodbyelupus.com. But it's not just about lupus. It's about a lot of other things. It's about a mind, body, spirit approach to healing. And when we approach that, it's amazing how everything falls into alignment and everything falls into place and heals. So fasten your seatbelt. We're going to learn and grow together, right? Okay, time to dance. Let me just say, the music is loud. Okay. Sometimes it's really loud and sometimes really soft, and the can't control it. So here we go. Time we can control our dancing. So here we go. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who've been tuning in from time to time or for the last 7 years, so grateful to you. But if you have stumbled upon the show, I've been waiting for you. Welcome. And let me share with you that this show is a place where you can feel safe to find a friend. And it is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal. And it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, today you might have some questions because there's so many people, and I was talking off the air with Dr. Brooke Goldner, who was featured in the documentary Eating You Alive. From the moment I heard her at Hello, I was hooked. I knew that I needed to have her on the show because she offers the kind of hope that we do not hear other doctors share. And as a matter of fact, we were talking off the air about the anger from the message, the anger to hear that we can heal naturally. But the anger is not at the message because we redirect our anger to whatever is like most harmless. It's really, truly that we realize that we've been duped, that we've been lied to because of money. So now it's time to take our health back, to make informed choices. So this Dr. Brooke Goldner that was featured in this documentary, I just thought this is wonderful. She was not just featured as a patient, but also a wonderful doctor who has lived this truth, that was told that she would not live past a certain age or have children. This is information from someone that is a doctor that she received, but she didn't believe. And as a result, she is now a doctor who's helping others heal naturally. And along with us on the Lillian McDermott radio show, she's been here before. You can check her out on my YouTube channel. You can check her out at whenyouneedafriend.com, depending if you want to hear her or watch her as well. But I am glad that she's back to teach us protocols, to give us some seeds, some tools, some plant something in us that says, you know what? I was created with perfection. How can I work with my body to heal? And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful to Dr. Brooke Goldner because she is here to do just that. Welcome, Dr. Goldner, to the Lillian McDermott radio show.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
It is great to have you back. And I don't get enough of this conversation on the Lillian McDermott radio show. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about your background for maybe people that have missed your show in the past and just catch them up to who you are and why you're so passionate about teaching people as an MD how to heal naturally.
Well, my passion comes from the fact that before I was ever a doctor, I was a patient. So I was diagnosed with something called lupus at 16 years old. And lupus is an autoimmune disease, meaning it's a disease where your immune system starts to attack your own body. So at 16, I had arthritis, I had rashes, I couldn't go out in the sun, and my kidneys were failing. And at the time, I was told that I had 6 months before I ended up with kidney failure, on dialysis, or even dead, unless I did aggressive medication therapy. And at the time, it was experimental therapy. So I was on high-dose steroids. I took 2 years of chemotherapy to get my kidneys into remission. So from 16 to 18, my life was really about planning around chemo and my medications and still getting good grades, because that was my sanity, was my studying. So I just focused on studying so I didn't have to focus on disease. And so in spite of the illness and all the treatments, I was able to graduate in the top of my class, get scholarship to Carnegie Mellon, and even go on to medical school. Because I've just never believed in hearing what I couldn't do. My doctor said, don't go to medical school, don't be stressed out, you can't deal with stress, you need to get enough sleep. But one of the biggest things I teach my patients is you can't let anything take you away from your purpose or your dreams. Then you've got nothing. So in spite of that, I kept going, and I did get sick again in medical school. It's not an easy thing. I had mini strokes from lupus. And so I was very sick up until I was 28 years old. And then while I was in my intern year of my residency, when I thought I knew everything, I'd finally graduated medical school, I must know everything there is to know, I accidentally reversed the disease completely using nutrition. My husband is a celebrity trainer, and he wanted to put me on a diet to get fit for our wedding. He wanted to marry a sick woman who couldn't have his kids that he was going to have to take care of. And I probably wouldn't live that long, but he just loved me that much. He just wanted to take care of me. And I was a vegetarian. So I didn't eat animals, but I did eat lots of dairy and eggs every day. And with his help, I changed my diet, and within 4 months, not only was I fit, but the lupus was gone. That changed everything.
I love this story. And now you're changing everything within us as well. You're helping. You're that pile driver that pushes the dirt from one end of the place to the other. And we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Brooke Goldner when we return worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of Dr. Robert Roundtree?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So Dr. Robert Roundtree is someone that we're supposed to record a pre-record show. And there was a misunderstanding, and we just didn't do it. But I heard him speak at the Institute of Functional Medicine conference. And he's very active in the IFM conference and the IFM Institute, Institute of Functional Medicine. And he said, I'm telling you, he had me at hello. He said they think that autoimmune disease is the body attacking itself. He said, but I'd like to propose that autoimmune disease is the body attacking our modified self. What is that? When he said modified self, he says, we have lots of toxicity in our system. We eat things that we're not supposed to be eating, and it stores in our organs, and it stores in our body, and our body is doing its job. It's trying to get rid of it, but it's now in our body, in our organs. What do you think of that? Does that make sense?
It's an interesting perspective, but how I see it, and when I do my rapid recovery group, what I realized is if I want to help people heal rapidly, it's not just about nutrition. I have to change the way they think.
Sure.
Because depression, stress, anxiety, all that stuff contributes. And so it's really a transformation in every aspect of the way they think and function to learn how to truly take care of themselves. And one of the things that I thought early on that I've now realized is wrong is that my body had turned against me. I felt like it was me versus my body.
Yeah.
And a lot of my patients and clients feel that way. And what I teach them is changing the way you eat is actually becoming your own friend for the first time in your life. Because what the truth is your body has been fighting for you all this time. That's why you're alive in spite of eating processed food and tons of meat and dairy and not exercising and not drinking water. You're still here because your body's desperately trying to take care of you.
I love that. I love that. And I want to maybe talk about that when we go back on the air as well, because that's so important. So you're saying a very strong variation of what he's saying. He's looking at the toxic, because the conference was geared towards the toxicity in the body.
Right.
But they also,
you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text
I'd
Lillian
like to talk
McDermott
about that me
or
versus my
voicemail
body.
407
That
373
battle.
5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow together. Today's teacher is Dr. Brooke Goldner, and she caught my attention and my heart when I saw her in the documentary Eating You Alive. And I want to encourage all of you to watch this documentary that is life-changing, actually. And many of there's other documentaries that are life-changing that are out there that are promoting a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Now, while I was off the air, and by the way, if you go to whenyouneedafriend.com and you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get to see and experience the on and off the air conversations. So I want to encourage you to subscribe and go check out the videos with Dr. Brooke Goldner, because this is powerful information. We don't have enough time on the air to talk about everything. So go to whenyouneedafriend.com, click subscribe. Today we were talking off the air during the break about the feeling, the mind, body, spirit approach to healing. And Dr. Goldner had mentioned that many people who have an autoimmune disease feel like it's me against my body. And so would you like to share a little bit of that and why we can shift that perspective and how we can shift this perspective?
You know, often people think that when they're getting sick, somehow their body is turned against them. And I felt that way when I was 16 and I learned that my immune system was killing my kidney. It didn't make sense to me. Why was my body destroying itself? What I've come to see over time is that it's actually not the case. So as soon as I started treating my body right, as soon as I started feeding myself correctly, the lupus disappeared, arthritis, rashes, everything, the blood clot antibodies, and I've been healthy now for 13 years, lupus free completely. And I've replicated this in people all over the world. And so now what I do is I really try to help people learn how to recover. And what I've seen get in the way a lot is not just the information about how to eat correctly, but their mindset, how they feel, because we know depression, anxiety, stress are all inflammatory, make you sicker. And a lot of that comes from this idea that my body is trying to kill me. It's me against my body. And what I teach them and what I've come to realize is it's the opposite. You're still standing because your body's been fighting for you all this time, in spite of the dairy and the meat and the processed food and the alcohol and the energy drinks and all the other things that you don't exercise and you never get enough sleep. You're assaulting this perfect body you were giving on a daily basis, and you're still standing. Then your body is fighting for you. And so I teach them healing. I have a rapid recovery group where for 6 weeks I work with people every day, not just on their nutrition, but on their mindset and how they treat themselves, learn how to care for themselves. And what I teach them is you are now going to become your own best friend because you haven't been. And a lot of them just cry when they realize that I need to love myself so much that I take care of myself. And as soon as they do that, that's when healing happens. So, you know, their body's been waiting all along. Just for that moment. It's your body's waiting for you now to take the right care of it. Stop making excuses, stop hurting it, and start nurturing it and taking care of it in the right way. And you'd be astonished how much healing can happen and how rapidly it can happen.
Absolutely. And you and I were talking off the air about the fact that some people get angry at finding out that they can heal naturally. They're like, this is preposterous. I was told by my doctor, I have to take this medication. I'll always have to take this medication. There is no cure. There is no, and the anger, like I said at the beginning, gets redirected at the person who's giving hope.
Kill the messenger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been assassinated a few times with just words.
Oh yeah. When I first started teaching this almost a decade ago, a lot of the responses through social media was this snake oil salesman. And I'd go, I'm not selling any snake oil. I'm giving free information. Here, this is what you do. I teach my classes for free just to help people learn. But there's people, no, it can't be free, but people do get angry and it's misdirected. Yes, it's anger at the system. But I had somebody recently who posted online that she healed coming to my free classes on disease reversals. Just coming to free classes, she did what I said and her lupus went away. And she posted on Instagram that I was one of those angry people who the first time I saw Dr. Goldner post that you can reverse lupus, I was so angry because it's incurable. And so I'm not sick because of any other reason besides my genetics. And how dare she say that I could reverse this? And so she was angry. And she said after a year of seeing other people's testimonials that they were cured, finally said, what do I have to lose? Let me just do her stupid diet and see what happens. And then I can tell everyone how it didn't work. Well, reversed her lupus. So, so of course I said, can I screenshot this and share this on social media? And she said, of course. But I just had that response yesterday. I posted someone's testimonial and this woman wrote, do not say that you can cure lupus. You can only have remission. And I said, okay, I have been disease-free with normal labs for 13 years. If you want to call that remission, go ahead. It's still worth doing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to quibble with you.
That's right. That's right. The truth is that whatever works will work, and so let's take the psychological aspect of identifying with disease. So many people have a disease that they become, it's my disease, my lupus, my fibromyalgia, my excuse not to look at potentially getting better. And it's not an excuse that we are consciously saying. We're repeating what we are told because we believe our doctors. Can you add to that, and can you help us kind of look at the other side of it?
I was just talking about this on Instagram the other day. I did a live because I had to tell people this. Stop saying I'm a diabetic. Stop saying I'm a loopy. That is not who you are. Do not make that your team. Right? I love it when I do events and I see a big crowd of purple in the crowd. So purple is the color for lupus awareness. And I'll see a big crowd of purple and I'll go over to see them and people will go, hey, we're loopies too. And I always say, I love you. Do not call yourself a loopy. We're going to get rid of lupus. Goodbye, lupus. Get it out of here.
Bye-bye.
That is not wear purple because you look fabulous in purple.
Yes.
But don't make it your team, all right? You were not born to have a disease. You were not born to suffer. You have a gift to give the world that you need to overcome this illness to give that gift. But as soon as you identify, you can't change your identity. Nobody's going to give up something that's part of who they are. It can't be a part of your identity. This is an obstacle, not an identity. It's a big problem I see where, yes, on the one hand, you want to have support, but don't make the disease who you are. You've got to get rid of it.
Absolutely. Oh, love it. I love it. Okay. So by the way, purple is the color of transformation. So I know that diseases have taken the color purple, but purple is the color of transformation. You see purple all over, and orange. I look at it, orange now as empowerment, but purple is, I love that identification with color. And so if you can switch it a little and saying, I'm transforming lupus. I am transforming who I am. I'm transforming my body. So let's talk about this lack of awareness, or awareness to take medications that are synthetic from the pharmaceutical industry. Let's talk about some of the side effects that come from taking the medication.
Well, I want to first be clear that I'm not anti-medication.
Me neither.
I'm a Western medical doctor,
Sure.
And medicine saved my life.
Sure.
If I'd been offered a green smoothie instead of chemo, I definitely would have gone that route, but it wasn't something I was aware of back when I was 16. But there are people right now who are on medicines that are keeping them alive, and so I'm not against that. The problem is that in Western medicine, primarily medicines are given with no other treatments, that this is the only option you have. Mm-hmm. And so, when you're looking at treating something like an autoimmune disease, the only option we have is medicines that shut off your immune system. So that's a problem, because when you shut off the immune system, now you're prone to infections, you're more prone to cancers. I mean, the list is endless on what can happen to you when you're on these kind of medicines. I mean, I took chemotherapy to shut off the lupus to save my kidneys, which then makes me at a higher risk for developing cancer, right? So the drugs are serious business. And a lot of people are told, you will be on these for life. I had someone recently with a new diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis, and her doctor wanted to put her on chemo immediately, and she had arthritis in her hands. And she said, I already reversed diabetes using a whole food plant-based diet. I don't know why I have rheumatoid arthritis right now, but I'm going to find another way. And so, my nutrition plan is much more aggressive than a typical whole food plant-based diet, because it's really optimizing immune function and cellular repair. So she came to me, and just in 1 week of adding the hypernutrition that I teach, her arthritis was gone. So, she was given this option that she said, if you don't do chemo now, you will do it later. That is the only choice for you. And then a week later, hands are completely pain-free.
Amazing.
So that's the frustration I have, is that it's only medications that are taught to us in medical school. And that's why your doctors are doing that, or prescribing it, is because that's what they were taught. I don't think doctors are a part of a conspiracy.
No.
If I hadn't healed by accident, I'd be doing the same thing. But it's very frustrating that that's the only option. And that's why patients are so confused when they go, here's this expert in my disease who's saying I have no choice. And yet you're saying that I can eat differently and make this go away. So that's why I love people like you who help empower the public to know this information that your doctor may not know, so that you can get your health back, so that it's not just medications, but that you can start healing from the inside out and then no longer need them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And for that affirmation as well, because, you know, I was given a drug for many, many years to help me with chronic asthma. And what I didn't know, and it happened as a coincidence, after I started the show, I received an EOB. The drug is called Xolair. And it increased my IgE, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea. But, you know, at the time, you just do whatever the doctor tells you because you want symptoms to go away. You don't know any better. And so I remember getting an EOB saying, you know, that I was being charged for chemotherapy. And that just didn't sit right with me. And I had already started learning about holistic health and embracing nutrition. And I called the doctor's office and said, and I was really upset. How could you give me chemotherapy? What the heck? I'm not taking chemotherapy. And you know what they said? That the drug that I was taking, the closest in code was chemotherapy. That began my journey to get off that drug. And so until you know a new truth, you just keep doing what you're told. So let's take this. You talked about this by learning about this by accident. You learned about a whole food plant-based, which we embrace on the Lillian McDermott radio show, but you say you do a whole food plant-based diet on steroids, so to speak, a much higher level. So I'd love to tap into that a little bit. Just show us just a little nutshell in the next minute what that entails. What is different?
So what I do is, I came up with this from my own research. So I didn't even know there were other people looking at plant-based diets. But basically what I did is I figured out which foods actually are the most powerful for cellular repair and optimizing your immune function. And what I do is I encourage people to eat those foods as the majority of what they eat while they're healing. And I call it hypernourishment. Everything you eat is supercharging your body and stimulating cellular repair. And that's why I can help people heal diseases they've had for 20 years within a matter of 4 to 6 weeks. They can feel dramatically better, but it's aggressive.
It's aggressive, but you know, some people think medication is aggressive on the body, right?
It's way more aggressive, absolutely.
and it has the side effects, and the side effects of eating well are joy and healing and
energy.
Look at you, the picture of health. And so this is what we're talking about today. If you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune Okay, so we're going to continue our conversation when we return. Okay, so the music is lower now. Okay, so if you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, listen up, because we're going to give you some answers that you may not hear anywhere else other than the Lillian McDermott radio show. And we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Brooke Goldner when we return worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Sorry about this. Like all of a sudden I had to yell over the music. So. Yeah. And you can't, I don't think you can hear me when that happens. But, you know, I want to go when we get back into, I want to talk about the specifics on this nutrients, the
hypernourishment.
Yes, hypernourishment. I love that. And here it is. You're stumbling upon it by accident because your husband now knew about a whole food plant-based lifestyle.
No,
right?
He didn't.
He didn't. How did he get you? How did he get you to go fit?
Okay, so here's the thing. So at the time, he was working with MTV. He was really known for being able to get people fit as fast as humanly possible. And what he was doing was he was using high doses of raw vegetables, omega-3 fatty acids, high hydration, and free-range meat for protein to help people get fit really fast. And what happened is people's metabolism would get fast. They'd lose fat really rapidly. They could do their music video with a six pack when they had a beer gut like before, and they did great. It didn't reverse diseases, but they got fit really fast. I was a vegetarian though, so I refused to eat any meat. So he had to change it for me. And so but I was a big dairy and egg addict. So I had to get rid of the saturated fat and get rid of that stuff. And instead he gave me tofu instead of meat. And so I accidentally became plant-based, but it was a specific version of it. When we went back to look at what happened, we realized that when it comes to healing, that we had accidentally discovered really the most anti-inflammatory diet possible, that it wasn't just about getting people fit really quickly, but it could also allow your cells to heal once you got rid of the meat. So we didn't even realize that until years later when I'd been healthy for 4 years and finally decided to have my son. When my son was born and the lupus didn't come back, that's when we went, all right, this is weird. Okay, the lupus didn't come back, and 9 days after giving birth, I was back in my pre-pregnancy genes. And he goes, he had the largest boot camps in Orange County at the time, hundreds and hundreds of women who said they haven't gotten their pre-pregnancy body back yet, and their kid was 18. And he goes, what's happening? So between that and the lupus, that's when we started the research. And we both went to Carnegie Mellon. We both love research and science. So we really delved into it and worked with biochemists to try to understand the pathways better. And that's when we realized, oh my gosh, when you take the meat out and then you focus on these raw foods and the omega-3s, when you do all that, you create a really low inflammation environment where the body can heal. And that's when we started testing it. And we tested it on people with autoimmune disease and then diabetes, heart disease. And every time we got the same result. So someone asked me on my class last night, what makes your diet better than any other diet that says it helps autoimmune? I said, it's because it gives consistent results. Everyone who does it will get results, rather than it be, oh, some people get results and some don't, depending on how much meat they eat or how much bone broth they drink, right?
Yeah.
So it's consistent. If you do this, you set your body up for healing, and it works every time. And that's what's really important to differentiate, because a lot of things can help if it's just better than what you used to do.
Yeah. And so with that in mind, again, going back to the modified self, the body standing up for you and fighting for you, isn't it amazing? Just the shift of perspective. You go from thinking the body is killing you and it's attacking you to looking at the other side and saying, wait, it's been my friend. It's fighting for me. It's defending me. It's trying to get rid of all these toxicity in our body. So how much of that do you feel that maybe you were sensitive to GMOs, non-organic foods? How does that play in your life?
So GMOs didn't play in at all because I healed eating GMOs. So when I healed,
good.
I was an intern. I couldn't even afford my studio apartment in LA. My fiance at the time used to have to send me money to be able to afford my studio apartment to be able to go to Harvard UCLA to do my residency. So I was just buying regular produce. And what I've seen is, if you can afford it, I still think it's better to eat organic. But
don't let that be an excuse.
Yeah, power of vegetables, it works. Even if you have to eat the kind that's traditional. And it's because you're still getting the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And when you eat them at the doses that I tell you to eat them at, you're going to overpower the fact that they're lower nutrients.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her.
So this is where I talk about my show, and then I'll reintroduce you, okay?
5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we always learn and grow together. Today's teacher is Dr. Brooke Goldner, and you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. Today we're talking about protocols to prevent and reverse lupus. Dr. Brooke Goldner is not just a doctor. She's also a patient of this condition that she was told that she would not be able to live beyond a young age. And so here she is, although she's still young, she has children and has a full life, a beautiful mission, which is to teach all of us how we can heal naturally. Food is medicine. And that is what we talk about. We talk about so many things, but I guess if you take one word and you take, what is your show about? And it's ownership, it's responsibility. It's saying, I'm not going to let you dictate the kind of life I want. And we get to shift and we get to change it. We get to look at the other side of what we have caused, what we've created in our life, whether it was intentional or unintentional, or we were just handed this. We can change it and we can improve upon it. If not reverse it, we can still improve upon it. Either way, we are in choice. I want to encourage you to continue this conversation, to embrace this movement with me of 100% responsibility by joining whenyouneedafriend.com. And if you don't have time to join it, send me a text with your email address and I will subscribe for you. Just make sure you confirm the email once you receive it. When you're at whenyouneedafriend.com, make sure that you check out my sponsors, because without my sponsors, this show would not happen. So please support our sponsors the way that they are supporting the show. This is free information for you. And so you can do whatever you want to do with it, whether you choose to do it or not. Either way, I'm just glad that at least this was just one person, one show that maybe planted a seed within you that maybe somewhere down the road you will embrace. But for now, if it doesn't make sense to you, that's fine too. Just share it with somebody that it might. And so go to whenyouneedafriend.com, not only subscribe at whenyouneedafriend.com, but also click on my YouTube channel. When you do that, on both situations, the shows are sent to you, whether it's the audio or the video as well. And the video has the on and off the air conversations. But follow me on my on Facebook and social media and all of that. And you can also follow me on podcasts, all the podcasts that you can go to, and you can download me through TuneIn or whenyouneedafriend.com. So many ways to be connected. Lastly, you can call or text me at 407-373-5959 if you have any questions today, or maybe you're angry about hearing this and you're angry with me because you think that whatever you're hearing from me is bull and it's just a bunch of rose-colored glasses. That's fine too. I can take it. I know where to wear my bulletproof vest. So just call 407-373-5959 if you have any questions for Dr. Brooke Goldner. I am just thrilled every time she comes on. And I want to encourage you to watch some of the videos that she's been on, which has powerful information. We're not diving so much, Dr. Goldner, and thank you so much for being on the show today, because I know you're very busy, but I'm not diving into what is lupus, what is autoimmune disease, because people can go and watch your previous show. We've already talked about this. What I want to talk about is this hyper nutrition, this hyper nourishment that you talk about that we can start reversing, because I'm sure it's not just lupus. You talked about rheumatoid arthritis. What are other conditions that this could help?
Oh, I've had people come to me with so many different kinds of diseases. So heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all sorts of autoimmune disease, inflammatory conditions. And then my favorite, the enigmas. So a lot of times people know there's something wrong with them, but their doctor says, I don't know, your labs look okay. And they go, but I'm in chronic pain and I have no energy, something's wrong. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but most folks take 5 to 10 years to get diagnosed with autoimmune disease, which means for 5 to 10 years, they were told, oh, maybe talk to a shrink, maybe get some more sleep. You just have too much stress. And then finally their labs become positive and they're told, oh, you know, you have lupus or you have mixed connective tissue disease or scleroderma. So a lot of times people come to me with enigmas where nobody seems to know what's wrong, and they can still heal because, you know, I'm not giving you a medication. I'm telling you how to eat the foods that will encourage your cells to repair themselves as rapidly as possible. So when I say hyper-nourishment, what I'm talking about is how do we deliver the most nourishment, the most nutrients to your body possible through your food. So, you know, when you hear the expression, you are what you eat, that's true. We are made of the cells that are created by what we feed ourselves. That is literally true. So if we take some time to only feed ourselves the foods that are the most nutrient dense, when I'm talking about nutrients, I'm talking micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, all the other phytonutrients that you find in plants, which are where our medicine originally came from, right? From plants. When you do that, your body goes into a period of self-repair. And so, for example, when you can start by just adding what you're missing and starting to get better more slowly. Or for folks who are just done being sick and want my help on getting better as rapidly as possible, I only feed them the most nutrient dense foods for a period of 4 to 6 weeks while I monitor them every day. And it's amazing to see. I mean, we just had a graduate from my 6-week rapid recovery group with psoriatic arthritis, who's in her 40s now, but she's been in pain since she was 8.
Wow.
And within 6 weeks, she is pain-free. She's running. She's got tons of energy. She's going running. She's been making videos all over Instagram and Facebook showing everyone my nails are so long. People pay a lot of money for this. Because what happens is when you get healthy, everything gets better. So your hair gets thicker, your nails get longer, your skin starts to glow. Where I'm in my 40s and people often think I'm 10 to 15 years younger, you know, and I said, I was older, but then I changed my diet and, you know, everything went backwards. So everything starts to improve. And so that's what hypernourishment is about. And it's aggressive, but you need to be aggressive. You know, diabetes is aggressive. Lupus is aggressive. You can't fight aggressive with moderation. That doesn't work. People would like me better if it did. If I was like, have a pizza and maybe have some kale, it doesn't work, you know? So if we aggressively nourish you, you'll be amazed what your body can do.
You know, I want to go back because you said so many things and I'm like writing notes like a...
I tend to do that.
Can you see me? I'm like writing all these notes. Okay, so one thing I just want to add to what you're talking about, food. You are what you eat.
Absolutely.
Dr. Joel Furman has said this on the show and so many other people that have been on the show. No pill can do what nutrition does.
Absolutely.
Nutrition is 100 times more effective than any pill. And I know that there are pills out there that are life-changing, but only in the short term. The long term, that's when all the side effects and all that stuff that happens. But no pill can do what nutrition can do 100 times fold. Okay.
So it's more than 100 times, because nutrition, the difference is when you take a medicine, I liken it to if you're driving your car and there's something wrong with the engine, the check engine light comes on. That is a message from your car. Please fix this. You're putting the wrong fuel in the car, or you didn't do an oil change. Something's wrong. Please fix it. When you take a medicine, that's equivalent to cutting the check engine light. So your body says, here's arthritis. Something's drastically wrong here. I don't feel good. You're not feeding me right. I'm going to send pain as a message, because that's usually how our brain says messages, is through pain. So it sends a message. And you go, ow, that hurts. Let me take some ibuprofen so I don't feel this pain anymore. And so you cut the check engine light. Or your doctor goes, oh, your blood sugar's too high. Take this medicine. Look, your blood sugar looks normal. Cut the check engine light. Everything's fine. Yeah. No, the disease causing the high blood sugar is still ravishing and going strong. And eventually you're still going to get all of the sequela that comes with that disease. You just artificially change the number. Versus nutrition, where you are literally changing your own biochemistry. You are healing the problem. And then the check engine light goes off on its own. The pain disappears because you're no longer sick, instead of the pain being suppressed because you've taken a pill to hide it.
Absolutely. And so with that in mind, the side effect of good nutrition is health. And so you can't beat that, because there are side effects with eating great food, which is great nutrition and great life and all of that. So with that in mind, I maybe when we're off there, I want to dive into childhood traumas, people that come in and say, I just don't get it. And they don't want to deal with those undercurrent, that stuff that's happening underneath in the spirit and the soul that need to be healed. But so let's talk about these hypernutrients. This hypernutrients, what do they consist of? Give us a quick, like Dr. Esselstyn does his little kale collard green is his song that he does. Okay, so what can you tell us? Do you have a little song?
The most healing foods there are first of all, leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables, but you have to eat them raw. So looking at kale and broccoli and spinach, things like that, leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables. Next is omega-3s. Missing from a lot of plant-based diets, people become afraid of fats, and they realize, and they forget that these are essential. They create a fast metabolism, they integrate into your cells, and they also become your anti-inflammatory immune system. If you don't eat them, you will not get full recovery. And hydration. Most people are severely dehydrated, and water is necessary for the chemical reactions that take place for healing. So what we do is when I'm hyper-nourishing people, I focus on optimizing how much they get of those food groups, and what happens is amazing and rapid.
So with the omega-3s, here we go. So we're going to talk about a little bit more about these, but the omega-3s, are you talking about vegan omega-3s? Is that yes?
Flaxseeds and chia.
Flaxseed and chia seeds. Okay, here we go. And we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Brooke Goldner when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. For some reason, the music is coming on really loud, and I was like, "Fuck!" I don't know if you've seen me jump. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen me jump a couple times. But okay, so let's talk about the emotional component of disease. I've had doctor after doctor after doctor come on the show, and I truly believe this as well. Is the mic off? No, my mic is off. Okay, so I've had doctors talk about how even though I've read on PubMed.gov that 60 to 90% of all illness is due to a life event or traumatic event in a life. And, but the doctors that I have on my show that are functional, integrative, holistic, you know, alternative, whatever you want to call them, they'll say, no, it's about 95, maybe even more at times. And so what can you say about that? And how much time do you spend in working with the emotional aspect, life events, trauma, perception with the individual that you work with?
Yeah, I have a unique background in this area because I originally, my board certification is in psychiatry and neurology. And the reason I went that path is because I realized as a medical student, I was originally going to go into rheumatology. It made more sense considering my disease that I had at the time. But when I was in medical school, what I noticed was that the people who suffered the most, even from the most minor injuries, were the people with depression and anxiety. And somebody who had a severe diagnosis often fared better if they felt happy and loved and hopeful and purposeful than somebody who had something that should have been more minor. And so I started to realize, and I used to teach my residents and my attendings, they used to laugh at me about, you know, I, as a med student, I'm going in and, did you notice she wasn't crying today when you did her procedure and what like she normally does because her family was there? Did you notice that, you know? Mm-hmm. So I was very observant of that. And so I decided that I could help people the most if I helped them with, how do you find happiness through chronic disease? Because I was able to do that, to be happy and purposeful in spite of chronic disease. And so I went into that, and I was medical director at a nonprofit treating traumatized youth for years, 18 to 25-year-olds coming out of foster care and juvenile justice and homelessness at 18 to 25. They're all traumatized. You're not homeless or through foster care and coming into this kind of program unless you've been traumatized, you know, parents that were prostitutes and, you know, drug addicted and homeless and abusive. It was really, really rough. And I loved that work. And what I saw was people with severe trauma always had more medical problems. And then when I switched into what I really feel is my calling, which is helping people reverse chronic disease through nutrition and lifestyle, the same thing is what I noticed is that while the people who were already happy, all I did was change their nutrition, boom, they're healed in a matter of weeks. It's just gone. Like it was for me, just gone, right? And then there's others that they add the nutrition and they're still suffering. And I'd go, oh my gosh. Well, then I talked to them and realized that they were in severe anxiety and depression. And then we talked about it and they had abuse in their life and all these other things. And so I started to see that the people with the most severe autoimmune diseases also had the most severe traumas as well. And that's actually been backed up by studies now. I just read 3 studies in the past week showing that people with trauma or subclinical trauma have a much higher rate of lupus than people who don't. And that makes a lot of sense. So the reason for that is that stress is inflammatory in the body. It creates more likely to
time is just going by too quickly.
I'll be right here waiting for you.
Okay, here we go. Amazing information.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow together. Today's teacher is Dr. Brooke Goldner, and we're talking about how to prevent and reverse lupus or autoimmune disease, whatever you want to fill in the blank, naturally. That means without toxicity. That means by using food as medicine and just adding everything into your life, mind, body, spirit. And so for those of you who want to learn more about Dr. Brooke Goldner, her website is called goodbyelupus.com. That's goodbyelupus.com. And she does a course. It's a free course. And Dr. Goldner thank you so much for being on the show. And can you share a little bit about your free classes that you've mentioned a couple times? I just wanted to see if that anybody would like to join you.
Absolutely. So I hope everyone can tell I'm very passionate about empowering people to get
No.
very
No.
passionate, right?
No.
Even early in the morning. So what kills me is that there's people out there suffering because of lack of information.
Correct.
And so I decided last year that my husband and I together, that we would make public all of our protocols, all of our healing protocols, everything completely for free. And we wanted to do that so that information is free. And so I've been for the past year teaching free classes, and I do it about every couple months. So they're happening right now. So if you go to goodbyelupus.com and click on the banner at the top of the page, you can register. And what I teach is the 6 steps to healing with supermarket foods. And so the class I just taught is the 3 foods making you sick. And if you register now, you'll get the replay to class 1 and still be able to join me on Thursday for the live class 2, which are the foods essential for healing. And then the next class after that on Sunday will be case studies in reversing disease. And I'm going to show dozens and dozens of case studies of people who have successfully reversed their diseases using nutrition and what they did. And people love that one because you often see yourself and go, oh my God, I have that. You know, it's very empowering. And after every class, I stay on for a live Q&A. And the Q&A is usually longer than the class. And I've had people who have been coming to these classes for a year, even though it's the same content. And they say they learn something every time, 1, because they hear it again, and 2, because the Q&As are so lively and so informative. And for me, it's important that I answer every question. So, you know, the only time anyone would ever pay me is because you want to hire me personally to hold your hand through it. But the information's 100% for free so that anybody has access to it. And I love to teach it. And I've gotten messages from people all over the world who have reversed their diseases successfully, gotten off their medicines just from the free classes.
I love it. I love it. And so, but this isn't just, although the website is called Goodbye Lupus and your classes are designed to help reverse lupus, it's really good for anyone. You talked about someone who had rheumatoid arthritis, and you talked about someone who had another disease. I can't remember what it was. Psoriatic arthritis. So they're able to reverse all these. Is thyroidism, hyperthyroidism in this group as well?
Oh my goodness. Hypothyroid. Absolutely. I've treated so many people for that. Or in my last group, there were people who weren't there for that. Somebody came to me for high blood pressure who on a whole food plant-based diet couldn't get it to go away. In 2 weeks, her blood pressure was normal, but she kept going. And at the end of week 5, she started getting really shaky. And it turned out she also was hypothyroid and she no longer needed her medicine, and the medicine was making her shaky. So she was able to come off of her thyroid medicine too as a surprise. And then somebody else who just finished a group just messaged me, hey, I just went to my doctor and I don't need my thyroid medicine. They just lowered it down to the dose I haven't had for, it was a dozen years. It's now the lowest it's ever been. So the thyroid can heal as well. And usually Hashimoto's is autoimmune, although it's not treated that way. They just replace your thyroid hormone, but they never change the disease that caused you to lose your thyroid. So yes, you can recover from anything. I'm just known for lupus because of my own story. But yes, any chronic inflammatory condition, including heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, they can all respond. You're just empowering your cells to heal themselves.
So when you do these courses and these free classes that you can go to at goodbyelupus.com, is there a particular time that people tune in, or how does that work?
So the classes are at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that would be 9 p.m. Eastern. And then for those of you that, I'm just not up at that time, that's all right. If you register, you'll get the replay of the class and the Q&A. You won't get to participate in the Q&A, but we have people that tune in. I mean, we have people in India, UK, Australia. It's like 4 a.m. and they're there participating. It's really extraordinary. It makes me so happy. I mean, literally thousands of people are showing up every time. And they stay on for 3 hours just to hear every bit of the Q&A. And because they're there, I keep going because I'm powered by them, that if they're still hanging on and want to keep going, then I'll keep going too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So with that in mind, so they're coming in and they're tuning in and they're learning from you. But if somebody feels that they can't do this on their own and they need more hand-holding, you're also available for that one-on-one coaching at a price.
Well, yeah. So I do Skype consultations because I do see people all over the world to help them with their nutrition and lifestyle. My favorite thing to do is my rapid recovery group. I'm actually having the last one of this year starting October 6th. There's actually only 10 spots left in it. But in that group, it's 6 weeks of working with me every day to make sure you get disease reversal. And so I work one on your nutrition to make sure it's working for you. Sometimes we need to adjust things. People have food sensitivities or their guts, not working properly. So I make sure it's working for you and you're doing it right. I push you to do it even more optimally. But we also do what I call the healing mindset. I work on helping people with their anxiety, keep them focused, help them with their self-sabotage, because people don't even know they're sabotaging.
Or your friends.
You're talking to a shrink here, I know.
That's right. Or your friends. A lot of friends, a lot of people, your family, your friends make you feel less than because now you've broken off the pack, and if you have a drinking buddy or an eating buddy, the best way to get you back is to shame you, right?
Yeah. So in the group, you not only have myself and my husband who created the protocol with you every day, but it's a small group as well. And they support each other so much. For a lot of people, that's their only family where they understand it. They all understand the pain. They all understand the cravings. They all understand how hard it is. And really that support is necessary for so many people. I have people in the group who literally their spouse is eating pizza in front of them or something. And it's just really a struggle. So it's an enormous amount of support. We do live meetings so that they can see me and hear me talking about things in addition to me being able to check in with them every day online. And it's extraordinary. So if you come to my case studies and you see people who are pain-free, disease-free in a matter of weeks, usually that's how they're working with me. So I recommend that for people who it needs to be done. My kidneys are failing. I'm really sick. I can't live this way anymore. And I need to know it's right and it's done right. Then it's extraordinary. I love it. I love taking care of people. I love healing people.
I hear it. I mean, and I need to tell you that you need to get a little bit more excited about what you're doing. You can, it does not come across. Come on. Okay. So there are a couple of things that I have questions for you. And I know that I had shared with you off the air that I've been attending this the Institute of Functional Medicine. They were focusing on toxins. How much chemicals, plastics, fluoride in the water, how much does that affect our body when it comes to autoimmune disease?
There's so many things that can trigger autoimmune disease. My focus is really not on that. So It could be chemicals in your environment. It could be your childhood traumas and stress, or death in the family. It could be hormones. Some people get it when they're a teenager like me, when the hormones are shifting. Other people get it during pregnancy and birth. There's so many things that can trigger it. And basically all that tells you is you have the genes for this disease, and now you've had enough stress on your body to trigger it. It's probably a perfect storm. You're eating like crap. You have stress, all these other things. The most important thing that I've seen is despite whether or not someone has fluoride in their water, or even if they're eating GMO vegetables, as long as they eat the right foods, their body still heals. And so that's what matters to me is whatever it was that triggered you, we can get you better again. But I've found that the power of eating the leafy greens and the cruciferous vegetables, the omega-3s, getting the hydration high, that has been able to overpower whatever the triggers are. So that's where my focus is.
What about berries?
Berries are delicious.
Okay, so I didn't hear you in that.
No, they're not healing food. So when it comes to rapid recovery, I use fruit for flavor, but they don't produce the results. In fact, I find that if people eat a lot of fruit and less of the greens, they slow themselves down. Whereas if people eat only cruciferous vegetables and greens, they even go faster. So I usually keep fruit to 25% or less of the diet to focus on the cruciferous vegetables.
Good to know. I'm glad I asked that question. That's very important.
It's a spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. That's what I
Very good. Very good. Okay. So with all that in mind, Dr. Goldner, I am just so grateful we can tap into all of this. So thank you so much for being on the Lillian McDermott radio show today.
You're so welcome. I love being here.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And so the music is a little loud. So with that in mind, I want to let you know, guys, as you're listening today, that we can take our health back.
Yes.
What are you willing to do to live the life of your dreams? Please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job. Wow, lots of loud music today. So, but I'm sure we'll get that. It happens. We just
it didn't bother me. I think it was startling you more. So
yeah, because I've got it in my ear.
Oh, that's why. Okay,
that's what happens. That's what happened. So okay, so if somebody's having and I know that you need to go, and I really appreciate you waking up early and being a part of. Is there anything that people? Okay, I know we're doing this. Is there anything in particular that people need to stop today? They just need to stop, because if they stop that, that's just going to help them with a little bit of better health. Is there anything that you talked about baby steps? What can...
Well, I think the most important thing people need to stop doing is stop stopping yourself. So a lot of people come up with reasons, constant reasons why they can't do it. I just had someone comment on my Instagram, I've been to your classes, but I can't stop eating meat. And I commented back, what does can't stop eating meat mean?
Yeah.
And she wrote back, well, I like it. I went, oh, of course you do. Nobody stops eating meat because they don't like it. Like, that's not a thing, but you just decided. And then she keeps commenting, oh, I have arthritis. Oh, I have this. Oh, I have this. And I often will say to people, what matters more to you? Do you want to stop having lupus, or do you want to keep eating meat? Do you want to stop being in pain, or do you want to keep eating processed foods?
Oh my gosh.
You got to decide what you want and stop stopping yourself.
Yeah.
So, and if you mess up the last meal, fine. Eat better the next meal. But people are constantly coming up with reasons in their head why they can't. And those are the reasons that you stay sick. And that's self-sabotage. And that's why I work so hard on that in my group. Every time someone messes up a little bit, they eat one thing off protocol, or they're short on their omega-3s. I go, what happened? Why are you stopping yourself? And they'll go, oh, well, I ran out of time and this and that. I said, really? You were 10 ounces short in your water? You could have chugged that water while you were posting your journal. Why did you stop yourself? Why?
Yeah.
And because you could. If I'm on a mission, you better believe I wouldn't post my journal unless I drank that last 10 ounces. Even if I had to pee all night, I would do it, right? So why are you stopping yourself? And that's when we often get into the traumas and other things where, I've always failed at other things. I don't believe I can do it. Or if I get healthy, people are going to expect me to go back to work, or they might expect me to be more present in their lives. And what if I get sick again? And then we go, good, that's the good stuff. Let's talk about that. Let's overcome that. So I think that's the biggest thing, because once you've decided to do it, it's actually easy. Drink green smoothies, have big salads, drink water. It's not hard. What's hard is the decision. And that's where I find people stop themselves first, is they stop themselves from making the decision to do it. Once you do that, once you decide, the rest of it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I have said that. It's so funny. I hear you speak like the same language that I've been speaking for such a long time. As a certified life coach, I don't, it seems like I deal with nutrition, but I'm not a nutrition coach. But it seems with all the teachers that I've had on the show that have taught us all, I tell them, hey, become aware of this, become aware of that, and kind of like help them. But I am not a nutrition coach. I'm a certified life coach. And so one of the things that in hearing people, like, I always quote the song from Meatloaf, I would do anything for, and then of course he says,
but I won't do that.
But I won't do that. So I always say I would, and I sing the song, I will do anything to save my marriage, but I won't go to counseling. I would do anything for health, but I won't stop eating meat. I would do anything for my lungs. I won't quit smoking. So you can add whatever it is. I won't do that is the unspoken thing in my head. And I said, people are like, I can't give up dessert. I can't give up this. I can't give up that. And I say, well, when you look at healing from lack, of course, you can't give up.
Right.
But when you look at healing as embracing health,
right.
And I'm like embracing, I'm getting rid of diabetes. I'm getting rid of all these, then it's a totally different, you're the one that teaches them how to do it. I'm hopefully be able to, guide them to you, because, it's that mentality of lack. It's amazing.
It's a loss. Yeah. I always tell people that too. If you're looking at this as, first I have to be sick, and now I can't have my favorite food, I lose everything.
Yeah.
Versus you going, you mean all I have to do is give up this food and I could have everything? That's abundance. That's everything. Like, I was a huge cheese addict, and I always say, I'm so much more addicted to having health and energy and abundance than I ever was to cheese. Now that when I smell it now, it's disgusting, but I was addicted to it because, food is more addictive than anything, right? And it's more prevalent. If you're a cocaine addict, you're not going to find it at Whole Foods or on your mom's counter, right? But if you're a food addict, it's everywhere. So it's hard, and I don't take away from that. But yes, when we live from a place of loss, that I've lost everything else and now I have to lose food, it feels like, what's the point, right?
But it's the food that got you there.
Right. If you give up the food, now everything comes back. And that's what's beautiful about it. So yes, I agree 100%. And I always tell people, kiss your smoothie. And I grab my smoothie and I kiss it. I go, love it. Kiss it. Be grateful for it. Everything you ever needed to get your life back is growing out of the earth. You can have it. You just got to decide,
Love it. I love it. So the meetings. So every day There's a meeting
No.
or once a week?
The classes, so the next one is Thursday, and then the one after it is Sunday. And
So
so the first
how
class
often
is
are there? How,
Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that's 9 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday at the same time. And the previous class that just went on Sunday, when you register for the next one, so when you register, you'll be registered for all of them. So if you missed any, you'll automatically get a replay in your registration email that says, hey, did you miss class 1? Watch it here. So you can watch it and catch up and then be ready for the live classes.
And the class is an hour, and then the live class is?
Yeah, so the class is about an hour, and then for class 2, and then the Q&A is usually an hour, sometimes longer. It depends how long my bladder can hold out. And then and then when I do the third class, every time I promise I will stay on till the last question's answered. And I'm often on the line until like midnight because I won't leave until I answer every question. And so,
Wow.
you know, there's often, I mean, yes, on Sunday, 400 people stayed on for an extra hour and a half. And I finally had to say, okay, I'm going to get up with the kids in the morning, but I promise anyone who didn't get answered this time, come back and I will answer all of them by the time the 3 classes are ended. So the third class is the marathon where I do all the case studies and then I literally stay on until the last question is answered.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Goldner, for being on the show today and for sharing your wisdom and your passion. And, you know, next time you just need to bring it up a notch, okay?
I've been told that.
No, I love it. I love your enthusiasm. And, you know, that enthusiasm, and this is something that I deal with a lot because I am so enthusiastic of sharing this good news, this new truth that whoever's not ready to receive it, oh, well, don't tell me what to do. Or you're just, you know, invading in my own stuff. And it's kind of like a deflation, but, you know, it's like, okay, you're not going to bring me down. I'm going to continue planting seeds everywhere in the world. And somewhere along the way, something will take. I don't expect anything to grow within you. But if I can say something that could help in the future, or maybe not now, maybe in the future, like I said, then my purpose in that moment has been served. It's a different perspective.
Angry, then that means you've hit a nerve in them, and that might mean that you actually did plant something. Because, you know, like sometimes people will come on my page. Now it's very rare because as soon as someone says this isn't true, dozens of people go, no, she healed me, I'm healed, I'm healed. So I don't even have to say anything anymore.
You got your tribe. You got your tribe.
I don't have to say anything. I'm just like, oh, you are? Oh, you should leave me a book review. That's awesome, right? So I didn't know. But now when people do that, I'm excited because I go, oh, wow. So you took the time to visit my page and comment. So you're a part of the conversation. And that's great. Yeah. And I love you for it. And even if you're not ready to start yet, I'm glad you're here. Oh, you know, and so there's somebody commented once, remind me to never have an argument with this woman, because the more angry you come at me, the more love I give you, because you need it and you're sick and you feel like crap. Of course I'm going to give you love. I know what it's like to feel like that. And I'm just here to tell you that you can be better. I'm speaking from my own experience. I'm not just a white coat who says, oh, do what I say. It's no, I'm living this and I know what it's like. I was sick for 12 years. Now I'm healthy for 13. So I'm living this, and that's why I'm so enthusiastic, because I want everybody to live this.
I love it. I love it. And I am so grateful for you. And I'm grateful for all the people, the haters. I'm grateful for the haters. I'm grateful for the lovers, because it is, you know, I allow people to respond, and I let them talk in my YouTube video, and they'll say something nasty or they'll say something whatever. And I'll go back with them. You know, I'm glad you watched you know, they'll say something like, they'll say terrible music, but good show. I'm like, okay, well, thanks for listening. I guess, you know, it's like, why would anybody comment on the negative? But this is what people don't understand. When somebody comes to me like that, they tell me so much about themselves. Mm-hmm. They tell me so much. They're, you know, when they're like focusing on what's wrong with me, it's really it's their inner voice for themselves. You spot it, you got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm so grateful to you, Dr. Goldner. And, you know, maybe next year we can have another conversation, but I'm definitely registering, because I want to start embracing this rapid healing, because I've had some symptoms I had shared with you off the air that I want to see if that will kind of change some things with me.
It really makes a difference. I have a lot of clients that are vegan celebrities, vegan doctors. When they get sick, then they don't know what to do, because they go, well, I'm whole foods, plant-based, what's going on? And my expertise is cellular nutrition. So, you know, I have someone right now who's like an author who's written a lot of books about this, and all of a sudden developed autoimmune disease. And went, how can I have autoimmune disease? I said, well, if you hadn't been vegan for 20 years, you probably would have had it then. But your traditional diet of cooked foods and beans and all that stuff is not enough to stop this process. But within a couple of weeks of adding hypernutrition, adding green smoothies, adding what I'm teaching her, the pain got better. She's feeling great, so it really makes a difference. And so it's next level. It's next level. And so it always helps. I'll never give up my smoothies. I didn't make one this morning because I would have woken up the house. It was kind of early. But I'm going to have one immediately afterwards. But for me, that is my prescription. I will never go without it. And I feel the difference. When I go to a conference and it's just cooked foods, this hyper level of energy, I start to feel it go down a little bit where I'm like, oh, is this normal? What is this normal energy? I drink my smoothie and I'm pepped. I'm like, woo, you can feel the difference. You really can.
Yes. I'm going to have to check out your smoothie recipe.
Yeah. If you go to smoothieshred.com and you can share that with your listeners, smoothieshred.com is my husband's free website and it has free recipes on there.
Smoothie what?
Shred, SHRED. So if you go there, you can for free just look and get smoothie recipes. And then for people who want to, they can join our community, which is a Facebook community. It's a group where my husband will have challenges and we'll do Q&As and stuff in there as well. And so we've got thousands of people from all over the world, and they haven't committed to eating plant-based. They've just committed to adding what they're missing, doing smoothies and exercise. But a lot of people end up going plant-based because they go, weird, I drink the smoothie and I feel great, and then I had a burger and I felt like crap. Do you have any recipes for veggie burgers? Or so it opens them up.
Good.
And it's away the argument of loss. I'm not telling you to stop eating anything. You keep eating that and just add this. And then they keep asking, can I stop eating this now? Oh, you don't have to. So this is the reverse psychology of it. So yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Great.
I love it. I love it. I love what you're doing. And anytime you want to come on the show, maybe we can get your husband on the show to talk about
he's awesome.
Different smoothies. I don't know if he'll wake up, but I do my smoothies like every 2 days or every 3 days. And then I have it like to go, or because sometimes I'm real busy in the morning. And like you said, turning on that blender is like waking up the entire household.
But yeah, my husband's great because, his book went bestseller, just released this year, and Miracle Metabolism. Mm-hmm. And so he talks about how to take the nutrition that I use for disease reversal and use it to create the body that you want. So you could rapidly lose fat or gain muscle faster than you can with meat. And so he switched his entire way of living after I healed. He then finally went plant-based himself and had to relearn how to train people without using meat. And what he's found is you can gain muscle faster with half the protein by using plant-based if you're doing it the right way, as well as losing fat more rapidly too. So that's one of those benefits where, remember, I healed when I was trying to lose weight. And so it works for both, where you just keep lower body fat and you're really super fit without having to put a lot of effort into it. And you can be healthy too. So yeah, he's great. And he's shared the stage with Tony Robbins. He's a personal development teacher. That's primarily what he does now. And so he's just a captivating speaker too.
Oh, what wonderful. Love it, love it, love it. And I am looking forward to having him on the show. And anytime you want to come on, let's have this. This is such a great conversation, and I love your energy. I love the way, one of my takeaways is, the what you said about the autoimmune system is that, we always hear autoimmunity as your body turning against itself. But what if there's that other side? What if your body is actually fighting for your attention? It is all about gratitude, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just being grateful.
That's one of the things I do in my group is I teach them, they have to do meditations as well. And I lead the meditations. And one of them is being grateful for the body you have right now. As it is, even if you're in a wheelchair. A lot of people come to me in a wheelchair, they're stuck in bed. Can you be grateful for that body that you have in this moment now? Can you find a place of gratitude? Can you start to heal inside as well and stop seeing yourself at war within your own body, right? It's important. It's an important part of healing.
Well, I will let that be the last word. Thank you so much, Dr. Goldner. I could talk to you for another 3 hours, but but I know I'd be crossing the line. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to registering and being a part of and learning as much as I can from you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And thanks for inviting me again. I really loved it.
Oh, I love it. And to you, my viewers, I hope that you stayed to the end. Just remember, you can get this class for free. Go to goodbyelupus.com. We'll see you soon.
Bye.